YouTube. I wanted to try some new content, and if this is something that you're more interested in, please leave a comment or just give the video a like or whatever. I've had a lot of people ask me on my opinions on games that I play on the stream, and instead of wanting to answer them 1,000 times, I thought that it would be a very useful thing to just package all of my opinion and put it in a singular place. So, after playing Hollow Knight for 24 hours, I thought I'd give you my spoiler-free review and go a little in depth onto what I think about the game. Hope you enjoy. So, I wanted to give my first ever, because a lot of times people come in and they ask me my opinion on games that I've played. I wanted to give my first ever review on a game. Again, it's going to be spoiler free. We might, in the YouTube video, we may put gameplay in the background. If we do, it's only going to be gameplay from like the first hour or so of the game. But if you don't want to get spoiled on even that, do this, or just minimize me or put me on your second monitor and don't look at me. And just listen to what I have to say. So I played Silksong for 24 hours straight, and I wanted to give my spoiler-free review. And I think that to do that is best to do it in its multiple categories, because Silksong in Hollow Knight is beautiful for many different reasons. One reason is the art. It is a beautiful game, right? Another reason is the music. Another reason is the story. What else do we got? We got the fucking gameplay. I'm gonna even say the difficulty, because I think that this game is known for its difficulty in the best of ways. So yeah, let's go through all these categories and let's give it like a rating on a scale of 1 to 10, because I think that that's a good way to go about it. As for the art, I think overall, I think we can all agree that unless you haven't played the game, Silksong is just Hollow Knight 2. But it's Hollow Knight 2 in all the best fucking ways. It's the second game, and they just took what they did in the first one, which was their first ever game, and they just perfected it. And if you didn't know, they came out with the game it took 8 or so years for the game to come out, because they were just having fun with it. And they just didn't want to stop making it, because they loved doing the game over and over and over again. In the art category, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. One, because I like happier art, and Hollow Knight is just a bit of a gloomy game. That's just me. Hollow Knight is a gloomier setting. And also, I feel like sometimes I'm in a cave a lot of the time. And so the world is like dark around me, and I want to be able to see more. And so that I can't see more of the art. The music's 10 out of 10. Honestly, I'm going to say this, and this is going to be really weird, but probably not. It's going to make a lot of sense. The music keeps me coming back when I'm wanting to quit. The music is both at the same time beautiful, but also motivational. There's one part of the game that I played through that was a very difficult traversal place. I'm not going to, again, say what it is or spoilers or anything like that, but it was a very difficult traversal place. It was a path of pain, if you will. I was really struggling with it. Like, I thought that one of the jumps was really bullshit, and I was pissed off. And then I just sat still. This was like hour 18 of the stream, by the way. So I just sat still, and I listened to the background song, and it might have been my favorite song from the game so far. And I was just sitting there just vibing to the beauty that the song is. And that was just a random fucking part of the game. It was a random part of the game. It was just a random room. It had nothing to do with a boss. It was just a random mid-level room in a random biome in a random place. And it was just fucking awesome. It was beautiful, and it was great, and it was amazing. The story gets an I don't know out of 10. I'll be honest, I read everything out loud so that people could follow along, and people tend to like for people to read things out loud. I do not give a shit about the story of this game. I don't give a shit. I do not care. I could give 2 fucking shits about the story. Again, I'm not going to care about the story as I'm playing. I'm going to go back and look at the story through a 3-hour YouTube documentary afterwards, and I'm going to go, wow, that's pretty cool that they put so much effort into it. And then the third game's going to come out, and I'm going to go, damn, I just don't care again. I want to get to more gameplay. The thing is everything else in this game is so fucking good that I don't want to stop. I don't want to stop. I want to keep going. So stopping and reading is fucking stupid, and it's dumb. And if you guys weren't here, this is what I'm doing. When I played for 3 hours offline on Saturday and then realized my thumbs hurt too much, I got the one dialogue part. This is what I did. Did not care. We're going to get to the gameplay now. There's 2 main things that people seem to have a really big issue with. I agreed with both of them at first. One of them is gank fights. And the definition of a gank fight is you go into a room, you think it's going to be a boss fight, and then instead of being a boss fight, it's a bunch of enemies that come in waves. And you'll get ganked from either side from enemies, and some of them have unique mechanics behind them, some of them don't. And overall, it just feels like kind of mid that you're not fighting an enemy. or you're not fighting a new boss, and instead you're just fighting gauntlet rooms, and sometimes it'll have like a more elite enemy at the end. It's kind of boring, and sometimes those fights are more difficult than an actual boss fight just because of the amount of enemies, and it feels like having to deal with 3 or 4 enemies AIs all at the same time instead of just one enemy that you can like really feel like you're slowly getting better at. And I think that's valid criticism, and I agree with that definitely takes down my score. But overall, I also want to say, ha ha ha, skill issue, lol, you're mad. Because I don't tend to get mad at games like this, because for whatever reason, I am masochistic, and I love the repetitive nature of fighting a room over and over and over again until I get the satisfaction of winning. So I hope that you have a terrible time. And then the second thing that a lot of people said that they really, really didn't like was a similar thing from Hollow Knight 1, which was you would find a boss, but there wouldn't be anywhere to rest nearby. So when you inevitably die to that boss and don't beat it, you then have to go through like another 2 minutes of getting back to the boss, to which then you die, and to then which you have to do that again and again and again. And people then were like, listen, Dark Souls does this thing where every time that there's a hard battle, you then put a boss, you put a campfire right before the boss. So people say that they hate the runbacks. Here's the thing though. Hollow Knight is better than Dark Souls, and it's better for Dark Souls in one reason. Dark Souls is a game, in my opinion, this is my opinion, that's all about the fighting, right? It's all about the fighting in terms of the gameplay, right? The traversal is more about the beauty of the game and like getting to the different areas. Dark Souls in those types of games are not known for having the best platforming, because the game is honestly built on a bit of a jank engine, I'm gonna say it, where you try to do some platforming and you just get clipped by a random boulder that doesn't exist and has a hitbox of a watermelon when it's the size of a pea, and you fall off the edge and somehow your horse has a quadruple jump, and I don't fucking get it. But Hollow Knight is known for its boss battles and its engaging fight choreography, just like Dark Souls is in the Souls games. But it's also known for its difficult traversing and platforming. And so when somebody in my chat during a very difficult boss fight, as I was running back and I was getting better at the run back, and it was the longest run back that the game had at one point, they said, dude, you just had a perfect phase 0 of that boss fight, because I got to the boss without losing any health. That clicked in my head. That's a part of the boss fight, so that not only do you have to get better at the boss fight, you also have to get better at the platforming aspect getting into that boss fight. And that actually made me fall in love with it. And now I'm currently stuck at a gank fight that is right next to the bench. And I'm kind of upset that I don't have a phase 0, because again, it's a gank fight and I'm kind of annoyed that it's a gank fight. So the gameplay, I'm going to also give an 8 out of 10 simply because of that gank fight. But then I'm going to bump it up to a 9 out of 10 because I actually like the new pogo mechanic, and I don't give a fuck what people say when they say, if you haven't played the game, you're going to start playing it and immediately you're going to have this new pogo. So it's not a spoiler. This new pogo people have, they're like, I hate this new pogo. It's so fucking bad. It's a skill issue. I'm so sorry. You're literally the fucking game dev, you're the game journalist that can't double jump. Get the fuck over it. It's more difficult. It's different, and it takes a little bit more patience and aim. Get the fuck over it. Oh my God. Oh my God, it's actually an 8 to a 9 out of 10. Somewhere in there. It's somewhere in the middle. Again, I have not completed the game. I'm only 24 hours in. And it can trigger you all you want, but if you say anything other than skill issue, bozo, mauled, cry about it. And the difficulty of the game is a 10 out of 10. I love the difficulty. I love the fact that there's already a mod that has been created by salty people in the community that has taken down double damage to only being single damage, and that you can no longer take double damage in the game. I love those salty fucking... I love those people being so goddamn salty. I love the people that are salty about the new pogo. I love the people that are salty about the gank fights. I love the people that are salty at some of the more difficult fights. I love the people that are salty about the runbacks. I love seeing it all on the internet. And I love the best part. Like, I've never, have never understood wanting to watch somebody play a game that you've already 100%ed or beaten completely until Hollow Knight came out. And now, especially with Silksong, because I played 24 hours straight, I was farther ahead of 99% of people, right? I went into Distortion 2 stream after my 24-hour stream. I was ahead of Distortion 2. I went into Point Crow stream. I was ahead of Point Crow. Also, I was also farther ahead of Point Crow with Let Des. Skill issue. Gonna say it. Cut. Skill issue. Better than Point Crow games. Better than one of the best Zelda players of all time. Just gonna say it. Kind of skill issue. But like watching him struggle and finding the way to go through this boss, and him molding at the same boss that I've had the euphoric feeling of defeating, and he's doing it with different mechanics. He was doing it with an ability that I hadn't found yet. It was so cool, and it's so beautiful, and it's so unique. And then you get to share in this unique euphoria when they finally defeat it, and like you can see the happiness on their face, and it's the same happiness that you felt. And oh my god, yeah. Overall, I'd give this game a 9.5 out of 10. Is game of the year. Game of the year. Game of the year. Game of the year.
He's an arsonist on a noble quest to escape the wrath of the IRS. He's got conflicting positions in the endless fight for queer folks and